Good day, everyone. I'm Ульяна Grishina, and I want to thank all of you for joining us today at the International Conference 2022. My co-author Elizabeth Ponomareва and I have prepared our study about bioprinting in Russia and in the world, and now we will learn more about it. Bioprinting, also known as 3D bioprinting, is combination of 3D printing with biomaterials to replicate parts that imitate natural tissues, bones, and blood vessels in the body. It is mainly used in connection with drug research and most recently as cell scaffolds to help repair damaged ligaments and joints. Bioprinting has been used in medicine since around 2007 and has been employed to help study or recreate almost every tissue, cartilage, and organ in the body. A 3D printer is able to provide depth to whatever it's printing, and a bioprinter does this by distributing biomaterials like living cells, synthetic glue, and collagen scaffolds in layers to create an object. This process is called additive manufacturing. The materials fed into the device are solidified as they come out to create a 3D object. But this is not as simple as putting material into a 3D printer and hitting a button. In order to get to additive manufacturing stage, the machine needs to receive a blueprint, a computer generation image of what it is trying to create. Then, the materials you want to use for the object S fed into the printer. The device reads the digital file you've given it while printing out the material you gave it in layers to create the desired object. Each layer will cool and stick to another one, creating one solid, stable piece. In order to get the living cells to fit into bioprinter, there is a number of routes researchers can take. First, they can be taken directly from the patient who they are bioprinting for, or if being used for research purposes or in instances when they can't use a patient's own cells, adult stem cells can be used, and they can be manipulated for the type of cells needed for bioprinting to recreate the tissue. The blueprint in bioprinter use is often a scan of the patient. This allows the machine to recreate tissue by referring to the scan and using thin layers in order to build or print the tissue. 3D Bioprinting Solutions is a biotechnological research laboratory founded by the medical company In Vitro. The activity of the laboratory is the development and production of bioprinters and materials, dimensional bioprinting, and scientific research. In 2019, the 3D Bioprinting Solutions Laboratory sent a new batch of cuvettes to the ISS to continue experiments on bioprinting in space, which began in 2018. This time it is planned to use organic and inorganic components for bone tissue assembly on the world's first space bioprinter Organ Out. The astronauts will also grow protein crystals and experiment with printing bacterial biofilms to study their behavior in zero gravity. Russian scientists expect to receive unique scientific data that can be applied in the development of new drugs. Now, I want to give the floor to a friend of mine, Elizabeth Ponomareва.
Hello everyone, my name is Elizabeth and I will continue to tell you about our research. The scientific director of 3D Bioprinting Solutions and the leading researcher at the Institute of Regenerative Medicine, candidate of medical sciences, Vladimir Mironov. In his speech at the Department of Anatomy of Sechenov University on the 2nd of September noted, living cells, tissues, and human organs will be synthesized already in the current century. To do this, morphological sciences, such as microscopic anatomy and histology, need to be digitized or digitalized, that is, translated into digital format and made available to computer programs of robotic bioprinters. Since without digital models, it is impossible to print human tissues and organs. The research that stems from bioprinting is fascinating, and while there has been a large advancement of knowledge and gains made from the ability to print bones, skin, blood vessels, cartilage, and even organs, there is still much more progress to be made before many of these practices are adopted into medicine. The human body and its various components are much more complicated than a plastic toy. The human organ has a complex network of cells, tissues, nerves, and structures that must be arranged in a certain way for proper functioning. From placing thousands of tiny capillaries in the liver to actually getting printed hardware bits and contacts in the human body, there is still a lot of research and testing. Working on all these stages requires the integration of technologies from various fields, including engineering, biomaterial science, cell biology, physics, mathematics, and medicine. So we need to be a little more patient. The main thing is to know that those who work in the field, doctors and engineers, programmers and scientists, are making progress every day, both in the technology of device itself and in understanding how it can be used and improved. Also, we are not quite there yet. There is no doubt that in 10, 20 years, medicine will be completely different, including thanks to bioprinting. Some may be ready sooner than others, though. In the case of machine and skin, researchers hope to have the science ready within 5 years for soldiers who experience extensive burns in combat. Other areas of bioprinting, such as recreating organs for human to use, still have a way to go in development. When it comes to mimicking the body's processes and observing the interaction of certain drugs within the body's ledger system, device has opened doors in collecting data as well as non-invasive ways to see how the human body interact with certain substances, which could lead to more personalized medicine for patients and less side effects. Thank you for your attention.